Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm in Asseto Corsa Competizione. I don't know if that's how you say it. Everyone seems to say it differently. There must be a correct way, Competizione. But anyway, that's where I am, Asseto Corsa, or ACC. It's often referred to as because it's easier to say. Now, I just love driving racing cars. I've loved it for many, many years. I've never been good at it. Okay, let's get that out of the way straight up. But I just love it. I love the cars. I love the colours. I love the artwork, the liveries. I love all of that. And I've driven quite a few different games over the years. Jeff Grumman's Formula One racing game. Most of you are probably too young to remember that one. Way back in 95 or 96 or whatever. And they've just been getting better and better and better. The last good one I really enjoyed when it came out was Project Cars 1. Then I went to Project Cars 2. Thought that was absolutely the cat's pajamas. The choice of tracks and the choice of cars was just fantastic. But once I had a look at Asseto Corsa and then Asseto Corsa Competizione, I realized that Project Cars and some of those other ones are just arcadey. They are not real simulations, what I would call a real driving simulator. Whereas Asseto Corsa and ACC, this one, they are real simulators. I mean, you feel every bump, you hear every sound of the bodywork and the chassis creaking and squeaking and the wheels and the tyres. You hear every little sound. The sound is absolutely immersive, just incredible. And every dynamic moving part of the car as you race, the dynamics and the forces, it is just incredible how they've simulated everything in ACC. It is just amazing. And before we get started today, we thought we would have a look around the car and just for a few minutes just appreciate how beautiful this Porsche is. The way it's been modeled, the way it's been textured, the way it's been set up, it's just unbelievable. It is just a beautiful thing, guys. Now, I had to go at starting a career in this ACC, Asseto Corsa Competizione, and they took me through a sort of induction training sort of session with these Lamborghinis. And the first thing they made us do is get in and just drive around the track and try not to crash, don't go too fast. And every move you make is analyzed in this simulator because they give you points, they give you a ranking on the scale. In case you want to get into esport, you come into esport or online racing with an actual ranking. And a difficulty level that is recommended for your own skill level. So they pretty much watch everything you do when you're driving, and is a real good simulator if you want to start from scratch and just learn and work your way up until you're e-racing online and driving in real life competitions. That's how real this game is. Real live Formula One and racing car drivers love this game and drive this game. And that's what makes it so real and so immersive. The fact is that if you do well and you can drive it well, it actually means something in the world scheme of online racing. Whereas an arcade game, you win a few races, that's it. That's all you're going to get out of it. Whereas in a simulator that's designed for online racing and e-sport and world championships, if you do well in these cars, you do well on the world circuit, on the world stage. I mean, I'm never going to be anywhere near that level, but it just gives it a little bit more meaning and purpose if you work and practice and become good at something. Now, I sort of rate this one the Microsoft Flight Simulator of car racing. That's how good it is. But before we have a look at this Porsche and get started with our career and start our training and practices, just have a look how I did with the induction course for the career mode. The first video clip I have up is we had to go through different scenarios. One of them is driving in the rain, in the wet. So have a look how I did. I did okay. Of course, I was slow. But I didn't crash and burn. I didn't hit the fence and wipe out the car. I wasn't spinning out on every corner. I just took it easy and slow and made my way around the track. So let's have a look at that video and just see how it went, just for a few minutes. Yeah, so that was it. I didn't crash and burn. I just went round nice and slow, and I got a little bit of credits. And obviously they were watching every move I make and ranking me on how I went with that. The next challenge they gave us was to drive around the circuit at night in the dark, and that was interesting. I mean, I don't particularly like the Lamborghini. We're in Lamborghinis. I just think they're just clumsy, they're bulky. I just don't like the feel of them. I don't like the look of them, but we had no choice. It was our induction, so I had to follow the instructions of the instructor. So the next section we had to accomplish, our next mission was to drive around a few laps in the dark. So let's have a look how that went. Yeah, well, as you can see, when they say nighttime and dark, it was really dark. There were no street lights, no street lamps, nothing lit up the track at all. All you had was the headlights of the car, and I don't think I even had full beam. So it was pretty difficult. I was pretty slow and careful and made my way around, got back to the pits without completely writing off the car or hitting the wall. So that was okay. The next stage they put us on an actual race, so we did a race, and I could have chosen the Aston Martin or the Jaguar or the Porsche. Because I love Porsche, I chose the Porsche. I don't know if that was the right decision or the wrong decision. Probably the wrong decision. Porsche are the most difficult and the hardest cars to control and drive and do well in Asseto Corsa. Why? Because they're so realistically simulated. That's why. There's a big learning curve. You need to know how to tune, how to adjust and set up the car to do well in a Porsche. But I chose the Porsche, and I went at a race that they gave us. Came last, of course, but I did finish the race, and I didn't write the car off in the fence or the wall, so I was happy with that. I did do some practice laps at some hot laps at Brands Hatch. So let's have a look at the hatch and see how I did in some hot laps around the hatch in my in the Porsche. It will be slow though, guys, I assure you. But at least I got round unscathed. So let's have a quick look at that. Well, again, I got round the circuit, did my hot laps like I was instructed without completely wrecking the car. I am slow and careful because I'm very aware that through the induction and through the progression of Asseto Corsa, you are being watched, you are being ranked, they are testing you and watching your skill level slowly climb, they are looking at your strengths, they are looking at your faults, and you will actually receive a ranking and a position for when you go into live online racing. They will determine whether you're a dangerous driver, whether you're a safe driver, whether you're careful or whatever. They will know all that by the time you go online and start your racing career. So I was very aware that I was being watched every move. Okay, so all that aside, let's continue with this video today. What are we going to do? Well, we are going to have a look at this beautiful racing Porsche. We're going to have a close look at it and appreciate the beauty of it and how well it's been modeled for Asseto Corsa, and then we're going to do some practice laps in it. Let's have a close look at this beautiful Porsche 991 GT3 racing car, because well, that's what this channel is about, really. It's just not about driving around the track with our hair on fire, spinning out on every corner trying to beat everybody. It's about taking the time to enjoy the beauty, the artistic beauty of these beautiful machines, because they are a work of art, guys, and they're like a fine wine. It's like a good quality wine. You've got to just take your time to enjoy it. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm just taking my time, taking a few minutes to enjoy this beautiful work of art here, this lovely Porsche 991. Now look at the way it's rendered and the way it's textured. Let's have a look at some of the details here. This is just incredible. Look at the wheel hub, look at the mag wheel, and the little nozzle there for the air. Just beautiful. And you can read the labels on the tires. If you have a look up here, you can zoom in. There we go. Farrelly on the tires there. Tubes, you've got the tube sizes, tube radials. You've got all the numbers here, R30720, steel belt. The detail on these tires and the rendering is just gorgeous. It just really is. Coming around the back here now, we can see that underneath the car there's not a lot of space. It's quite low to the ground at the back, so the diffusers are very, very shallow and short on this car. That's because the engine is in the back, so we've got all that weight in the back. That creates problems of its own, guys. I tell you, as far as handling, that's why this car is a real learning curve. You've got the engine at the back, so you've got that weight at the back there. It has been brought forward in this model by about 25 centimeters, I think, or 30 centimeters or millimeters. So the engine has been brought forward a little bit. In the front, you've got the fuel tank, so you've got that weight at the front, just over the front wheels. So as far as weight and balances, this car is a whole new kettle of fish when it comes to driving and handling and setting up all the suspension and the steering and everything that's in it. But just have a look at the way it's textured. It is absolutely gorgeous. The lights. See if I can flash the lights here. There we go, it can flash the lights. Just lovely. Now have a look at these ear vents, quite characteristic of this car. Have a look at the ear vents on the fenders up here. Now they're not painted on, guys. You can actually see through them, and you can see a little bit of the engine and the cowling and all the things that are underneath. You can see right through. Just amazing. Same with this grille here for the airflow from the wheel wells. You can see through the grille. It is actually a real grille. It is not actually just painted on. It's not 2D, it's actually 3D, which is incredible. You see how low it is to the ground there, and all that air whistles up there into that wheel well. It creates all sorts of turbulence and all kinds of havoc. So having those air vents at the top just lets the air escape and come out through those vents, and that's what helps and contributes towards the downforce and the speed of the car. Just having somewhere for that air to actually escape and to go, and to actually have some beneficial things as well towards the downforce of the car. So that's why they have those fins there and this grille here. But isn't that amazing? Now, because the car is so low to the ground, diffusers are very, very short. This car has been cleared to have a higher than normal wing at the back. You see, it's not quite as high as the roof, but it is quite high. There is a rule in the GTR racing: the fin is not allowed to be as high or higher than the roof of the car. It has to be down a little bit. But compared to the other racing cars, this wing is exceptionally big, it's wide, and it's quite high up. And that's to help compensate for the fact that the diffuser underneath the car and the rear of the car is so low to the ground. Just beautiful. Beautiful texturing, beautiful modeling here. And if you come down into the scoop at the front, you can see the scratches on the carbon fiber, the marks and all the little scratches and marks there. Just incredible. That's what this channel is about, guys. Appreciating the art of the actual car. It is a work of art. It is just amazing. It's not just about driving it. Now, I have owned a real Porsche. I've had a Porsche in my garage. I've actually owned one. I have driven one. I've had Jaguars, Porsches, Mercedes, BMWs. I've had a lot of good cars. And I always remember the little Porsche I owned. It was a heck of a lot of fun, and boy, was it interesting to drive. It was so responsive. The German engineering, I tell you, if you haven't experienced it, well, you can't say that you've got, well, put it this way, you've got to experience it to know what I'm talking about, to understand what I'm talking about, what it's like to drive these cars. It is an experience. Lovely. Okay, so let's have a look inside the car and see how they've modeled inside the cockpit of the car. Let's see what sort of detail they've got. There's me sitting in there, looking pretty handsome and ready to go. And look at this, look down here. Here we go, we got your inverters and chargers and splitzers and all connected up. Fire extinguishers, roll cage. Isn't that phenomenal? Just phenomenal. This is definitely the Microsoft Flight Simulator of the car racing world, guys. It really is. Just amazing. Well, I think it's time we stopped goo-garing and drooling and dribbling at the mouth and actually got into the cockpit, fired her up, and let's take her for a few laps, shall we, and test her out, see how she goes. Now, I won't be doing fast laps. I'm not out to break any records or to impress you with my speed or my driving. If I continue with this series, it will be a training and learning series about how to drive a Porsche, how to set up the weights and the balances, the tire pressures, the suspension, the gearing, the ratios, all those kind of things I have to learn, and I have to learn from scratch. So if I do a series on this videos, if you want to see me go ahead and do that, let me know in the comments, and we'll go through from day one to actually joining a series and racing in a championship series. And we'll just go through one stage at a time of learning from scratch how to drive, how to handle, and how to engineer and set up this lovely Porsche to get the best out of it. Because I tell you, there is just so much to learn. Just as much to learn in the garage and the engineering side as there is with the driving, if not more. So for today's exercise, all we're going to do is basically appreciate the beauty of the car, and we're going to get in and we're going to give her a bit of a rip around the track. And I've got a little notebook handy here, And I'm going to write down my very first lap times, okay, of this track in this car. My very first laps, without all my training, without all the practice, without any knowledge. I'm just going to write down my lap times, and then we're going to see how we can progress as we learn to do new things and learn to do the setups in the car. And as we start to change and fine tune all the details, then we'll see hopefully we'll see my lap times come down and down and down, and we'll see some improvement. And you're more than welcome to follow along with all my settings and all the things that I learn if you have a car racing simulator as well. Okay, enough talking and goo-garing. Let's get in and head around this circuit and see what this baby can do. Okay, now in case I didn't... Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh my giddy. Incredible. And now in case I didn't mention it, we are at Zandvoort. Okay, that's where we're going to do our practice laps today at Zandvoort. And I think we're going to spend quite a bit of time at this circuit, just fine-tuning our setup, getting to know the car, getting to know the weight and balances and the setups before we actually do any racing. So the first few videos I do will be at Zandvoort, and we'll be doing driving, practicing, testing and setups. But the first thing, it's on the default setup. Now I haven't touched anything in the garage, in the workshop, in the setup screens. I've touched nothing. This is the default car without any training or practice or method or anything really, apart from that induction course I did in the Lamborghinis, which I did not really enjoy. But I'm certainly going to love my time in this one. Okay, so let's fire up the engine and just hold on to your hats, guys. Hold on to your hats. Is it going to start? Now the tyres will be very cold, so there's no way I'm going to boot it on my first couple of laps, that's for sure. And I certainly don't want to put any dents or scratches in it or run it into the wall. So these first few laps I do will be very slow and very careful, at least till I get some heat into the tyres. This is real old man driving here, guys, I'm afraid. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a great time. I'm really loving this simulator. And let me know what you think in the comments if you'd like to see some more some videos on this, some more racing or some more training sort of videos where we sort of learn to tweak the car and get our times up by doing all the adjustments. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to enjoy. It is not an arcade racing around like crazy game. It is a simulator. So there is a lot of things you have to learn, and you need to take it slowly and carefully. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Look forward to seeing you again on this channel. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Enjoy your racing car experience, whatever platform you have, whatever car you're driving. Have fun, but don't forget, take time to stop and enjoy the beauty and the art of these lovely machines. Take care. Ciao. Bye.